think should be applauded.
Right there.
My name's Kevin, and I am vegetarian, but I just wanted to note how you say that it takes care of things like famine. And I mean, I definitely support feeding the hungry, but it seems to me like I know that half of the food that's produced in America is just thrown in the trash. And so it seems to me that not all of the food that we're eating is going to Africa or places in need. It's like, yeah, I am vegetarian, so I'm consuming a lot less, or I'm not consuming any meat, but it's not like anything extra is going there because of it. It just doesn't seem like our system has a way of spreading food to places that need it. So I was just wondering if you knew of any programs or anything like that that do take the excess food and give it to places in need.
Well, I mean, that's sort of a two-part question. And the first part is economists are in complete unanimity that there is a direct relationship. Both eating meat as well as diverting crops to biofuels cause the price of corn and grain to go up, which causes people to starve to death. Like, there aren't environmental or resource economists who disagree with that statement. So we're not talking about you don't eat meat and boom, food is sent somewhere. We're talking about you don't eat meat, and to a tiny degree, since it's just you, the price of crops go down because the demand for meat goes down. And as the price of crops go down, some people who would otherwise not have been able to eat meat, the price goes down so that they can eat meat. What the meat industry is it's that you relationship writ massively. And so for the same reason that biofuels 100 million times cause the price of food to go up like 40%, to the highest rates for staple crops in history, the meat industry wasn't that immediate boom, but it's still 7 times as great, making the demand, causing the price to go up exponentially more. And there is a direct relationship.
Right there in the back.
Yes. I just have 3 things. 2 are from the slideshow. One thing, in order to support our mass agriculture system right now, with growing grains, vegetables, whatever, you need the livestock industry in order to put the nitrates in the soil in order to do that. Just growing a potato crop or one of the tubers that put nitrates in the soil naturally is not enough to have a sustainable crop like that. And 2, the thing about the global warming, one volcano puts more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere than livestock and humans do in one day that we all do. And then 3, mine is a concern with PETA support for the Animal Liberation Front, mostly concerning Rodney Coronado and Gary Yourofsky.
I'm sorry, what was the second name?
It was Gary Yourofsky.
Okay.
I want to know why you support basically domestic terrorism for burning down research laboratories that go to benefit human, cancer research, everything like that. I mean, and especially Rodney Coronado. He was convicted for burning down a research lab at Michigan State University. As much as I hate Michigan State University, nobody should be getting their research buildings burned down, because those are multi-million-dollar facilities. And that gets pawned off on students and the taxpayers rebuild.
Not even Michigan State, that's very big of you. Okay. Manure. This was the big deal before global warming, right? Raising animals for food. The 10 billion farm animals produce 130 times as much excrement as the entire human population. It can't be used on crops. It destroys topsoil. It pollutes water. It creates massive odor problems. It destroys communities. When we go into this on our website, we've got massive amounts of manure, and it's a huge environmental problem, which is one of the issues that the United Nations report tackles. On global warming, yeah, there are human-made causes of global warming, and there are non-human-made causes of global warming. Everybody in the environmental community is talking about how we can address the human causes. And the number one human cause is the meat industry. So if you think that because volcanoes cause so much global warming, we shouldn't worry about human actions, then this isn't an argument that will appeal to you. But for the environmentalists in the audience, we're trying to reduce our personal global warming impact, and the best thing we can do is to adopt a vegan diet if that's a concern to us. Rod Coronado and the ALF, PETA has not given Rod Coronado or the ALF money since Rod Coronado was convicted. He was a fantastic grassroots activist before he did the ALF activities, and you know, we helped him out and sent him to do demonstrations and that sort of thing. But since he was convicted, we haven't given him any money. And PETA has been audited by the IRS. If we were supporting illegal activity, you know, we wouldn't be a nonprofit. We probably wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, during the start of the lecture, you used the term mercenaries for like people who eat meat. So I want to know, like, I have another question after this. So, like, can you like define that, like, what it means to be a mercenary, and why do you use it in that context?
Well, it's a mercenary relationship. The mercenaries are the people who actually, you know, do the killing or waste the resources or starve the poor. But meat eating involves one in a mercenary relationship, where for most of us, we're paying people to do things we wouldn't do personally. I think one person raised their hand on the I would personally be happy to waste massive amounts of food, but everybody who chooses to eat meat is paying other people to waste massive amounts of food on their behalf. I think somewhere on the order of 5% of the audience said, yeah, I'd be happy to get Penny's throats open. And the other 95%, whoever of them eats meat, is in a mercenary relationship where they're paying people to slit animals' throats open for them.
And the other question I have is, but the mere fact that you don't eat meat, do you think you're morally better than the people who do eat meat?
On that one issue, I think that you know, I have friends who are meat eaters, and I'm sure they've got, you know, meat morally on a lot of other issues. But on the issue of whether you eat meat or not, I think that eating meat is immoral. So on that one issue, yeah.
So do you think overall that would make you more moral?
I'm not going to go out, you know, unlike George Bush, I do not have the capacity to see into people's hearts.
I know on the flyer that we received some information about this morning, it said that, you know, cops don't really compete animals, don't really get much out of it. So if you are trying to help the people who suffer from poverty, suffer from malnutrition, what, I mean, you can become vegetarian since that doesn't really make a great effect on how a lot of people are adopting right now. What else can we do? And, you know, if that does happen in the long run, what can we do with animals? I mean, we've got billions of animals, and if we never use them for food, then we just pet them. What do we?
Well, I mean, my wife and I support Oxfam International and Catholic Charities, both of which are doing very good things in the developing world to feed people. I've been supporting Oxfam International since 1987 when I was organizing fasts for Oxfam on my campus. I think they do spectacular work. So that's one thing that people can do. You can volunteer with Oxfam as well, is another thing people can do. With regard to the animals, I mean, the reality is if everybody in this room went, you know, vegan overnight, what would happen is, to some very small degree, the price of meat would go down. The animals who have already been slaughtered will have been slaughtered. But what we're doing is trying to create more and more vegetarians so that the demand for meat goes down, so the price of meat will go down until eventually we get to zero. But as I was talking about earlier, chickens are slaughtered at 7 weeks, pigs are slaughtered at 6 months, cattle are slaughtered at about 2 years. Dairy cattle are slaughtered at about 5 to 6 years. So it's not a case of, you know, suddenly we have all of these superfluous animals. It's a case of we stop raising them in order to slaughter them.